Moses said to God, "Behold, when I come to the children of Israel and say to them, 'The God of your fathers has sent me to you,' and they ask me, 'What is his name?' What shall I tell them?" God said to Moses, "I am who I am." And he said, "This is what you shall say to the children of Israel, 'I am has sent me to you.'" Why did God tell Moses that his name is I am who I am? Today, we will explore the profound revelation behind God's name, I am. But we won't stop there. We will also uncover the powerful lessons we can learn from this name. Dear viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel. Here, we explore unique teachings and revelations from the Bible, rooted in our faith in Jesus Christ. Now, without wasting any time, let's dive straight into the question. Why did God tell Moses, "I am who I am"? And what does this name truly mean? When I was a child, reading the story of Moses and the Israelites' deliverance from slavery, one part always made me wonder. When Moses asked God, "What is your name?" I couldn't help but ask myself, why would he ask for God's name when he already knew he was speaking to God? What was the significance of asking for his name? So, in order to understand why God told Moses his name is I am who I am, and what that name truly means, we first need to understand why Moses wanted to know God's name in the first place. And this is why. In ancient times, all civilizations identified their gods by name and by the power or attributes they possessed. Now, remember, the Israelites had been living in slavery in Egypt. They were surrounded by Egyptian society, a people who worshipped many pagan gods, each with a specific name and power. For 400 years, the Israelites constantly heard the names of these gods, witnessed their worship rituals, and saw the power attributed to them. This went on for generations. Because of this, Moses had to ask God, "What is your name?" He knew the Israelites would demand an answer. Because they were used to hearing the names of the Egyptian gods and associating them with power, they would naturally ask, "What is the name of the God who sent you?" Exodus 3:13. Then Moses said to God, "Behold, when I come to the children of Israel and say to them, 'The God of your fathers has sent me to you,' and they ask me, 'What is his name?' What shall I say to them?" Moses knew that the children of Israel would want to know the name and power of the God he was speaking about, the one who would deliver them from the hands of the Egyptians, just as they were used to knowing the names and powers of the Egyptian gods. And that is the main reason why Moses asked God for his name. By now, we already understand why Moses asked God what his name was. Now, let's focus on understanding the meaning of God's name. I am who I am. Since God also knew that the Israelites would want to know his name because they were used to knowing the names of every god in Egypt, he did not hesitate to tell Moses his name. He also knew they wouldn't just want to know his name, but they would also want to know his power. So, God prepared a special plan to reveal the meaning and power of his name. But before we explore the meaning and power of God's name and how he planned to reveal himself, let's first take a look at some of the names of the Egyptian gods and their powers or roles. From there, we will gain a deeper and clearer understanding of what I am who I am truly means. In ancient times, in Egyptian society, there were gods whom the Egyptians worshipped. The names of these gods are Horus. He was the god who served as the royal protector. He was also associated with Pharaoh himself, and the Egyptians believed that every pharaoh was the embodiment of Horus on earth. Amun. He was considered the great god of creation, light, and air. He was also associated with Ra, the sun god, thus becoming Amun-Ra, the most powerful of all Egyptian gods. the king of the gods. Hapi. He was the god of the Nile River, who was also associated with fertility and the prosperity of the land. These were the most powerful gods in the Egyptian pantheon, the system of Egyptian gods. There were also gods associated with plants, fertility, weather, and other aspects of nature. And this is how the gods of Egypt revealed themselves, through their names and their powers. Now, let us examine the meaning of God's name, I am who I am, and how He revealed Himself. This is the meaning of God's name. I am means that God exists. Who I am means that He is not caused by anything, and His power comes from within Himself, not from external things. He does not need anything to exist or to act, and His existence has no limits. Remember that the Egyptian gods identified themselves as having powers coming from external things, like the sun, the Nile River, the earth, plants, and the weather and other natural elements. Therefore, God revealed Himself differently, stating that He exists, and His power does not come from external things like the sun, the earth, plants, the Nile River, the moon, the weather, light, or anything else, but it comes from within Himself. Now, let's look at how He manifested His name and His power. And this is how He revealed His power. When God appeared to Moses and instructed him to go to Pharaoh and tell him to let the Israelites go, He told Moses that He would make Pharaoh's heart hard, so he would not allow them to leave, in order to demonstrate His power and wonders over the Egyptians. Exodus 7:2-5. You shall speak all that I command you, and your brother Aaron shall speak to Pharaoh, so that he may let the Israelites go out of his land. But I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and I will multiply my signs and wonders in the land of Egypt. But Pharaoh will not listen to you, and I will lay my hand upon Egypt and bring out my armies, my people, the Israelites, out of the land of Egypt with great judgments. The Egyptians will know that I am the Lord when I stretch out my hand against Egypt and bring the Israelites out from among them. God prepared the plagues against the Egyptians to show them that His authority and power were far greater than their gods. These plagues were specifically meant to humiliate the gods of Egypt. God struck Hapi, the god of the Nile, by turning its waters into blood. The fish in the river died, and the Nile began to stink with a terrible odor, making it undrinkable for the Egyptians. This is found in Exodus 7:20-21. God struck Amun-Ra, the god of the sun, by bringing deep darkness over the land, darkness so intense that the Egyptians groped around, unable to see one another or move from their places for 3 days. This is found in Exodus 10:21-23. God struck Horus, the god of royal protection, by killing the firstborn of Pharaoh and all the Egyptians, along with the firstborn of their animals. There was a great cry throughout Egypt, one that had never been heard before and would never be heard again. There was no house without a dead body. This plague humiliated Pharaoh, whom the Egyptians believed to be the son of the gods, yet even his own son died. It also humiliated the gods associated with the firstborn, as many of the Egyptian firstborn were connected to various pagan deities, but the God of Israel demonstrated that no pagan god had the power to save them. This is found in Exodus 11:4-6 as the announcement of the plague, and its fulfillment is in Exodus 12:29-30. All 10 plagues were intended by the God of Israel to strike and humiliate the gods of Egypt, so that all Egyptians would know that the God of Israel holds supreme authority over their gods and all nations. And this is how the God of Israel revealed the meaning and power of His name, that He exists, is not caused by anything, and that His power comes from within Himself. unlike the Egyptian gods whose power depended on external forces. What does this teach us as believers? This teaches us that our God is great and more powerful than any challenges we face. When we go through difficult times, it does not mean that God is absent. The Israelites endured much suffering in slavery, but God saw their affliction and delivered them with a mighty hand. Sometimes God allows trials in our lives so that His name may be glorified, drawing us closer to Him in love, worship, and reverence. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, says the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope. Therefore, my brothers and sisters in faith, let us not lose hope in any situation we face. Let us trust in Him alone. If this video has taught and blessed you, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Goodbye, until next time.